Hi guys, it's Paula and I hope you are doing well. This is going to be an update for the Panners Pan. This project was created by Elizabeth, who is also known as Shiny Happy Pans over on Instagram. And the idea behind her project here is that we would shout out other project panners that we love and support through project panning, which was a very unique idea, I think. But basically we were told to pick out 10 project panners that we love and want the world to know about and link a product to them and then pan them. And it's rolling, so when you meet your goal on that item and it rolls out, you could roll in a new item for a new project panner. And her rules were that this project was going on indefinitely. A lot of people have not followed that rule. A lot of people have stopped this project. There are still several, and I thought it was just Jessica and me, but I have discovered that there are about a handful of other people on Instagram still doing this project as well. So kudos to all of you still doing this project. I want to see somebody do this forever. I don't think it could be me though. The concept of panning forever is not good for my procrastinator brain, because my procrastinator brain is like, oh, I'll do that later. I have forever. So it doesn't really work for me. I need hard limits. I need boundaries, because if I don't have boundaries, I will not pan things. I'm making more progress on these items now that there is an end in sight than I was when it was indefinite. So I just think it goes to show that the concept of forever does not work very well for me and my little procrastinator mind, because a procrastinator will procrastinate. It is what we do. The deadline I have set for this project for me is that whenever Jessica has met all of her goals and decides that she is done with this project, I will exit alongside Jessica. To be honest, I kind of thought I'd be getting a text message from her already, but she's still going. So this is an update. I don't know when the finale is going to happen. Like I said, it's not up to me. It's up to Jessica, but it could happen at any moment. It could literally happen tomorrow. But it was time for this update to go up for my schedule. And I do have some progress to show. I have met some goals. I'm very excited. And so, yeah, let's do an update. This is my 43rd update. So I've been doing this project for about 3.5 years and, well, a little over 3.5 years. And there are some things I've done very well with. There's other things that feel like I've been working on forever. And honestly, it's been longer than 3.5 years that I've been doing this project, because not every update was monthly. So it's probably been more like 4.5 years, if we're being honest, because a lot of those were like updates after 2 months or 3 months. So yeah, it's more like I've been doing this project a long time. Anyways, let's get into the update. I have officially met my goal on 2 items from this project, and I am extremely close on a 3rd item. I'm so excited to talk about them. So let's start with those first. All right, the first goal I hit was for Taru, who is cruelty-free panner. I love her channel. I just recently binged on a couple of her series. As you guys know, I'm watching very, very old videos back from like 2000. But oh my gosh, I just love her project panning and her videos and her personality. She's so great. If you have not checked her out, go check her out. But the product I put in for Taru are these 2 items right here. They're not a matching set, but Max Factor and CoverGirl are like the same. I think all their items all their products were made in the same factories. Max Factor is no longer sold in the US, so I think that gives you a pretty good idea as to how old this is. It's been a while, but this is a liquid lipstick, a matte liquid lipstick that dries down, and when it was brand new, it like was impossible to get off your lips. You needed like an oil-based remover. Now that I've had it for a long time, it's a little bit easier to get off, but still like doesn't really want to come off. And then this is a clear balm that you could put on top of the matte lipstick to give it some shine and make it look a little bit more comfortable and make it feel a little bit more comfortable. I've gotten so used to wearing matte liquid lipsticks over the last several years that this is not as uncomfortable to me as it once was. But the rule that I set on these 2 items was that whether I use them together or not, when one of them is finished, my goal is met for this project. And I finished one of them, and it's the balm. No surprise there. I've actually been digging in since finishing it. So that's it rolled all the way up. I've been scraping out. I found a tool that came with an eye cream. You want to see it? I'll show it to you. Hold on. So over the last couple years, sometime I was sent an eye cream, and inside of it came this cute little tool, and you can use it to scoop out the eye cream, put it on your eyes, and then you can use like metal ball to like rub it in with a cooling sensation. But this is great for digging out lip products too. So I've just been scooping out a little bit of this and applying it to my lips and wearing it. So I've actually used up more than the product will allow for, because that is it rolled all the way up, and I'll probably keep going. It's a really good balm. I really like it. It's a very high shine balm. It's actually, sometimes I wear it around the house, sometimes I wear it when I'm going out. It's beautiful. I did wear this once since the last update, so I did get one more use. I know I should probably declutter this, but I probably won't. But I'm still happy that I finished the balm, and as a result, it's rolling out of this project. If I do decide to work on this again for project panning, it will be in another project in the future. And yeah, one product out of this house. I'm very excited. And the next item I met my goal on was from Metropolitan Creole, and that was my Fenty Mademoiselle lipstick in Candy Venom. I had a usage goal on this to use it 20 times, and I did use it 20 times. I think I was at 15 or 16 at the last update, so I only needed to use it a few more times. It was basically brand new. I think I'd only worn it once or twice, and it's still, I mean, it's not brand new, but if you look at how, that's it rolled all the way down, there's still quite a bit of product. But man, do I love this lipstick. I love it so much. One of my best purchases ever. I just love this lipstick, and I have discovered that I do have some similar lipsticks in this very same shade, so I can calm down. I'm okay. I don't need to run out and buy any more of this lipstick color, but I do like this lipstick color very much. It turns out I'm in love with a very, very bold hot pink. It is gorgeous. So that is rolling out of this project as well. I almost can't believe it, but I think that leaves us with only 17 products left in this project. I guess we could count and figure it out, but according to my very accurate, not so accurate paperwork, yeah, there's 17 items left in this project, which is pretty good. I think at one point I was around 31, maybe? I had a lot. Of course, that's because I made this a progressive. I changed the rules of the project on myself and told myself that every month, whether I met my goal on an item or not, I was gonna roll in another item for another project panner. And that's just because I personally pan so slowly, and I know so many project panners that I had so many people that I wanted to shout out. So yeah, this was really getting out of control for a while, but I feel really good about only having 17 items left. Obviously, I'm not gonna finish all 17 of these before Jessica finishes whatever she's still working on, but I'm happy to have met my goal on 2 more items, and I'm confident. Should I say confident? I'm somewhat confident that I'll finish another one before the end of this project, but let's take it from the top. All right, the first item that I've been working on in this project forever is my lip liner in BFF from ColourPop. I put this in this project for Elizabeth, aka Shiny Happy Pans, and that is because we did another project years ago called the 2020 Vision Project Pan together, which she also created, and I had this project and I had this product in that project, and so this product reminds me of her, and in all the projects this has been in, I cannot finish it. Years and years of being in a project. I have been working on it though, and I do have progress. I'm very pleased. This is where I am now, and if you could look at the little lines, the progress I made over the past month was very respectable. I'm happy, well, it's been more like 2.5 months, but I'm very pleased with that progress. Many months there was 0 progress whatsoever, or even less progress. So I will take that as a win. This tip is broken off. I've been kind of mindful of this little edge end because it's very tiny, and I might lose that at some point. I'm trying to use as much of it as I can before it like falls down the sink or something and disappears forever, but it is broken. So we'll see if I can get to that broken piece before the end of this project. But I did find that I've never loved this product. You guys, if you guys have watched any other video that features this lip liner, you know that I've never been in love with this lip liner. But when I'm at my palest, it does work a little bit better than when I have a tan. So I have been trying to zero in on it. I have been trying to use it more consistently while I'm still relatively fair. We've had the longest spring ever. I don't know what the weather's been like in your neck of the woods, but where I live, it has been the longest spring ever. Usually in the Midwest, spring and fall are like 1 week long. Most of our season throughout the year is either winter or summer. It's like all summer, all winter, and then this little tiny sliver of fall and this little tiny sliver of spring. We have had a true spring season for the longest amount of time that I could ever recall in my lifetime. It's not all bad, it's not all good. Some people love it, some people hate it, but I don't have a tan. I have not been out, there's been no sunbathing, there's been no going to the beach. I've just been staying inside wearing hoodies for so long. And yeah, so I'm still fair, and I'm still, that lip liner is still working for me. It's fine. The next item is for Alex. She goes by Alejandra Lisette on YouTube. And the item I chose for her is a single shadow in Halo from Luxie Beauty. My goal is just to hit pan, which I cannot seem to manage to do, mostly because I don't love this product, which is unfortunate. A lot of times when I roll items into project pans, I've never even used them, so I don't really have a strong opinion, but I figured I bought it. I must have bought it for a reason. Unfortunately, this isn't as bold or as shimmery or as something as I wish it was. It's just kind of very subtle and understated and doesn't do a whole lot. I think my feelings are that if I can hit pan on this and roll it out of this project, I'll probably repress it with something immediately and use it up that way, because on its own, it's just not something I'm reaching for. What it does do well, and I guess I'm supposed to be doing swatches, so let me swatch this. What this does do well is layers over purples, even darker shades, to make like a pretty blue, kind of iridescent color. And when I swatch it, it looks pretty when I swatch it. My hands look like little old lady hands. I'm not sure when that happened, guys, but sorry, excuse my little old lady hands. But yeah, it looks pretty when I'm looking at it right there. It's also kind of shifty. It looks like a kind of peachy shade in the pan, but it shifts with kind of a blue. I can see it when it's flat like this, but unfortunately, maybe you could see it kind of there. Can you kind of see that blue shift? I don't know. It just doesn't do a whole lot on my eyes the way I wish it would, though. But I have reached for it several times since the last update. I think I had it on as recently as yesterday, and I would love to hit pan on that. But once I do, I'm probably going to repress it and mix it with something super dark and see what I can create if I do that. Here's also a swatch of the BFF lip liner right there. Next up is my Maybelline Color Tattoo Eye Chrome in the shade Fool's Gold. I brought this product in here for Rebecca Morgan and Jocelyn Claire, and this is an item I have not touched at all in several updates. I just don't reach for this. I like it very much whenever I do wear it. I always like the look, but I haven't reached for it. And in fact, I have not really been going for green looks in a long time. There was a time where like one of my favorite eye looks was a mossy green, olive green look. It was a go-to for me, but it just has not been a go-to for me for the longest time. And I'm not sure, I always find that very interesting how my preferences change and my makeup styles change, but it has been a long time since a go-to for me has been an olive green eye look. I just don't go for those looks as much anymore. But I think that's the main reason. There's nothing wrong with this product. I just haven't been driven towards green. I think it probably has more to do with my Pan That palette. If my Pan That palette had a green in it that went well with this, I would totally do this a lot, or I'd totally use this a lot, but it just doesn't complement my Pan That palette in any way. So I don't know. I don't know if that's just a really ridiculous excuse or if that's the truth. Anyways, I haven't touched it in the past, since the past update, but there is a swatch of it right there. It is a beautiful shade. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. The next item I have used quite a bit. There's very little progress, but I have used it, and that is this eyeliner from Jante Blue and Electric Blue. And this is in this project for Alexi and her amazing, inspiring, colorful eye looks. I do have a new progress line on this. This paper has been kicked around for so long that the edges are like tattered, but that is my progress since the last update. It's not much, but the progress has been so minimal on this eyeliner throughout this entire project that I'm excited whenever I can make a new line. Here is a swatch of it right there. I was really hoping this would make an excellent like waterline eyeliner. The truth is it doesn't. It really only works on my top line. And so that's how I've been using it, and it works for me that way. But I have a lot of eyeliners that I like to use on my top upper lashes for lining my eyeliner, or for lining my eyes. Today I'm just using a basic brown that's in another project. And yeah, so the other thing is that for the last several months, I don't put any makeup on my lower lash line, which is very new to me. I always would do like a full smoky eye every day. Like if I put something on my upper lash line, I'd put something on my lower lash line, but I have been leaving my lower lash line completely naked for months now. I don't have any eyeshadow, any mascara, or any like eyeliner in my waterline whatsoever. And I think it's just like a personal style preference that I've been going for lately, but it's different. I think it changes my whole look completely to not have anything on my lower lash line. Of course, it does impact my ability to project pan. I'd probably project pan a little faster if I was doing like a full blown out smoky eye, but this has been what I've been going for lately. Just, you know, I'll still do something smoky on the upper lash line, but the lower lash line's just been naked. I feel like maybe it gives me a slightly more youthful appearance, which I'm not against, but I'm not sure if that's really true or not, or if that's just the way I feel. Let me know. All right, we're done with page 1. For page 2, the next item is my Juicy Tubes from Lancome in the shade Desert. This is in here for Linda. Linda Loves Life over on YouTube. I love her. Oh my gosh. Every time I watch one of her videos, I just smile. She's just so wonderful. I've made way more progress on this than I ever imagined I would in the time that I've been project panning this, but it is far from being done. There was a time where I was using this every morning and every night consistently. I'm not using it as consistently anymore. There's other products that I'm trying to get a lot of use out of too. So I use it sometimes, but not consistently. All right, the next item is my Almost Empty. I'm so excited. This is NARS Rakugian. I have this in here for Rebecca S. I felt like this pencil was never ending, and we've hit a bit of a breakthrough this morning. This is the lips color I have on my lips right now. And when I applied it this morning, I found the little plastic piece inside of this. Now, I don't know, can you see it? Can you see that little plastic thing sticking up at the tip? That is plastic. It is super tiny. So you see that there's that little like hole in the middle, and coming out of that hole is a little piece of plastic, and I can feel it when I try to apply this. Now I feel like I can still work around that plastic there. I think you could see it better there. I feel like I could still work around this plastic a little bit longer, so I'm not calling it done yet. But I think the end is very, very near. I think once your lips are scraping plastic, this is about to be a goner, and I'm so excited. Plus, I think you could see from how much I've sharpened it that there's not a lot of product left. I mean, we are at the very end. Although when I was panning a jumbo eye crayon from NYX, the product went into here. I don't know if that's the case for this, but I think it's gonna be hard to get much more product out with that plastic piece there. I'm half tempted to grab my tweezers from the bathroom and yoink it out and see what happens, but I'm gonna try and control myself. I think this is gonna be a goner by the finale, and I'm very excited about this. This was in my 2024 Hall of Shame Project Pan Roast, and so it would be great to get this out this year before the official year of roasting myself is over. All right. Hopefully that'll be a goner soon. The next item is another one that maybe I used once, but I don't even think so. That is this lipstick from Maybelline in the shade Warm Me Up. I brought this in here for Christina Chang. It is a beautiful color. It is just an awesome like my perfect nude. It's a nude shade with just a touch of pink. I love it. But when it comes to project panning lip products, I have way too many, and this is always falls to the bottom of the pile. Next is my ColourPop and My Little Pony palette. I had 2 shadows in here for 2 different project panners. I did meet my goal on this one in the past, but I am still working on this one up here for Courtney, who is Triggy 3. And yeah, I didn't touch that one either. That's unfortunate. There have been many times where, like, after my makeup is complete, I think to myself, I could have totally worn that shadow in the My Little Pony palette. And I'm like, oh well, I didn't think of it. So that's too bad. Okay, the next project panner I picked a product for is Chanrel from Chanrel Stash, and that was my Master Palette by Mario in collaboration with ABH palette. This did have a little bit of a few bumps along the way since the last update. I dropped this in the bathroom and several shades cracked. I didn't repress anything, but I did try to use the shades that cracked. Of course, the one that I'm working on in this palette did not crack. That one is perfectly fine. But I'm trying to be a little bit careful as I hold it up to make sure nothing falls out. But yeah, this one had cracking, this one, and then this one up here. Like all the shimmer shades, not all the shimmer shades, but all the shades that cracked were shimmers. And so yeah, I just made sure to use all those shades, and as I was using them, I kind of like pushed them back in and put some pressure on them to try and get them to bind back with the rest of the product in the pan. None of them like flat out shattered or fell out of the pan. So that was, it just was sitting on my bathroom counter and I knocked it over. So that was unfortunate. The good news was that I had a chance to use some shades in this palette that I never normally use. So that was good. And I liked them all. I was really impressed with all of them. But the shade that I am supposed to be working on is this one right here. And I just want to hit pan. That's the shade Isabel. I just want to hit pan on it. I have not been reaching for this palette as much this past month, or really this whole year. And that is because when I'm looking for like a mid-tone brown for my crease, I've been reaching for my bronzer. That's what I have on my eyes today. I'm trying to use up my bronzer because it's in my Classic Project 10 pan project, and I feel like I'm not making any headway with it as a bronzer, so I'm also using it as an eyeshadow. And although the shades aren't identical, they are very similar on my eyes and serve a very similar purpose as far as like mid-tone brown. And so I haven't been reaching for that ABH shadow nearly as much because my focus keeps going towards that bronzer. Like maybe I could at least hit pan. Maybe I can do something with that bronzer because I feel like I'm getting nowhere with it, and it's already June and I'm freaking out. So I haven't been using that shadow as much, unfortunately. Okay, this next palette has 2 shadows for 2 project panners once again, and I've used both the shadows since the last update. I'm pleased to say the first one is for Tori. That's this shade up here called Sheba. And I think the reason I brought this in for Tori is because she was panning this palette too in a project. Probably that's why a lot of these items ended up in this project. But I did use this twice in the last month, which is really good because I have not been reaching for this shadow at all for a long time. And I've just kind of fallen in love with the bronzy eye look all over again. It is a go-to for me in the summertime. It's not what I have on my eyes today. Actually, the majority of the shadows I have on my eyes are not in this project at all. But I've been loving a bronzy eye look again. And I have 2 shadows that both create bronzy eye looks in 2 different projects, but this is one of them and I've been enjoying it very much. The other shadow is this one right here, which is called Jezebel, and I have this in this project for Katarina, and it is a gorgeous shade, but I haven't been reaching for this shadow as much. The goal for both these shadows, I haven't been swatching again. You guys, I fell off the wagon. I haven't been swatching again. Hold on, I will catch up on swatching. You guys, I'm horrible at this. The goal for both of these shadows is to hit pan. And I don't know if I could realistically do that within the time frame that I have for this project, but I'm enjoying working on them in the meantime immensely. Oh my gosh, I haven't been doing swatches. Ah! Okay, swatch time. This is NARS Rakugian up here. This is Warm Me Up from Maybelline. This is the ABH Isabel shade in collaboration with Masterclass by Mario. This is Sheba from Juvia's Place. This is Jezebel from Juvia's Place. And this is the shade from the ColourPop in collaboration with My Little Pony palette for Triggy 3. Is that everything? Did I get it all? Oh my gosh, I'm a mess. I'm horrible at this. I'm trying though. I'm really trying. All right, up next for Rose, I have my Rose blush. It's actually called Rose Shimmer. It is by the brand American Beauty. I specifically remember purchasing this on clearance at Kohl's for $2.50. I love buying stuff on clearance. It's my favorite. Unfortunately, I have not touched this in months. My goal is to hit pan on this beautiful blush, and my focus has just been on a couple other blushes that I'm not just trying to hit pan, but trying to use up, and I'm kind of laser beam focused on that, so I haven't been reaching for that. But it is a beautiful shade. It is a bold shade. It is very bold, but it is beautiful. Should I swatch it? Do we care about blush swatches? It is 80s Barbie pink. I'm not against it. I was around in the 80s. I don't mind a Barbie pink moment. I don't need it every day, and it can be sheared out. There it is right there, you know. We can go subtle. We don't have to go Barbie pink, but it can go Barbie pink, if you know what I mean. It can do that. Up next is my Marc Jacobs glossy stick for Tanya, who is Irreverent Beauty. This is in the shade Wet Your Lips. This is a roll-up product that does not roll down, so I have no idea how much product is left. I feel like, you know, it's a product that moves up, and I feel like it's getting kind of top heavy, but I have no idea. It's an easy, you know, slightly colorful, but not very colorful, glossy product. I love it. I do have a lot of lip products in different projects, but I love this very much. And it's another product that I'm just so glad to be project panning, whether I finish it or not. I'm just glad to be working on it. I would hate for a product like that to be sitting in my office not getting love. Up next is my Urban Decay Heavy Metals. Is that what it's called? Good Lord, how could I not remember? I think this is called the Heavy Metals palette. It needs a good wipe down. It feels, when you live with kids and they brush their teeth in your bathroom, things get gross fast, and I cannot keep up with the job of keeping toothpaste off of every item in my bathroom, but this has been sprayed by one of my children, and it does not feel good. I'm sorry, that's TMI. This palette is in this project for Verity, who is Red Dirt and Stardust. I specifically picked the shade Acoustic to try and hit pan on. I primarily have been using this gorgeous shade as an inner corner highlight for the most part. And I do have a decent dip going on in there. If I was using that shade exclusively day in and day out, I think I would have pan by now, but I'm not. I'm always distracted by one thing or another. And so I use it maybe 1/3 of the time. There is a swatch of it right there. It reminds me so much of Koosh, which is one of my all-time favorite Super Shock shadows. It's kind of like a taupey silver. I love taupey silvers. And this really, it doesn't look like much on that swatch. Maybe it's this spot where I put it, but it does pop on my inner corner, and I really like it for that job. Although it works really nicely all over my lid as well. I feel like I'm project panning like 3 inner corner shades, and I'm project panning like 20 lid shades. So I tend to use it more as an inner corner shade, but it works great all over the lid too. All right, next is my Stila Next to Not eye glitter in this project for Lauren, who is Beauty Nook by Lauren. And I have a usage goal on this. My goal is to use this 20 times. I should have never done that. I should have never set a goal for 20 times. I've only used it 2 times. That is a shame. I'm running out of space. And this is dry. I need to add something to this to revive it, like now. It's just dust. I'm not even gonna give you guys a swatch because it just like poofed out, but I'm gonna experiment with what I can add to this to revive it and see if I can get it to a consistency where it'll stick to the eyelid. Water might be enough, but it might not be enough. Maybe I just gotta do Duraline. I'll play around with this, but I've only used it twice and it shows. We're almost done. The next product is my Beauty Light Wand from Charlotte Tilbury. I have this in here for Amber, who is Makeup and Books with Amber M. This is a gorgeous liquid highlighter. I love it. I'm not wearing it though. The reason I'm not wearing it is because I'm project panning that Mascara Beauty highlighter, and I'm trying to prioritize that. But man, if I had like the perfect liquid highlight, it might be this. It is gorgeous. It is just the right amount of shimmer, the right amount of pigmentation, the right shade for my tone of my skin tone. And it truly looks like I am just glowing every time I wear it. But yeah, I have not been reaching for this because of the Mascara Beauty cream highlight that I'm trying to project pan. All right, the final item that I have in this project is my Pure Visionary palette. I have this palette in here for Sarah Catherine, and I'm trying to hit pan on the shade Innovator. This was originally in my Pan and a Repalette project. I took it out of there because I was overwhelmed with however many palettes I was panning, and when I got my emotions under control, I moved it over to this project to keep working on it because this was her Pan That palette at one point. This is the shade Innovator right here. I'm also tracking my usage for Pan and Every palette in case it ever slides back into that project. But yeah, the ultimate goal is to hit pan on it and to add it to my palettes with pans collection. There it is right there. It is buttery, goldeny goodness. It's one of my favorite golds ever. I'm not a big fan of yellowy golds, but this buttery gold is so beautiful and flattering and gorgeous. I just love that shade. I actually reached for that shadow 9 times since the last update, which is pretty good for me. You guys know I'm panning a lot of eyeshadows, so nothing gets my attention exclusively, but 9 uses is pretty good. That gives me a total usage of 25. I think we're up to 25 uses total for that shadow. I also used the shade Dreamer once since the last update. I'm tracking all my uses on this palette, but this shade right here called Dreamer, I think I used that as an inner corner highlight one time. But yeah, this is the main focus, is hitting pan on this amazing buttery goodness. That's all I could call it. It's buttery goodness because that's what it is. It is such a beautiful shade. I just love it. I could play with it all day long, but I have not hit pan yet. I'm getting there. 9 uses. I'm happy with 9 uses. That's pretty good for me. But that is where we are at. I cannot believe we're only down to 17 products. I cannot believe that 2 products are rolling out of this project. I'm really excited. It's been slow going, but like I said, I just feel like now that this project has an end date and there's a hard line, I'm more focused on these items than I was before. If you give me forever, I will take forever. That's just the way my personality is. I know I'm not the only one. I know there's some of you out there that are the same way, but I need deadlines. I need hard deadlines. Otherwise, it's never gonna get done. We'll keep an eye out for me when Jessica is getting ready to do her finale. That's when I'll do my finale. Whatever products I have not met my goals on in this project will more than likely roll over into other future projects. So it's not like you'll never see these items again, but for the sake of this project, it will be done and you'll see them again in another project in the future. That is it for this update, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.